What advice would you give to other families caring for a baby with feeding difficulties?
And it's, you know, your baby than anyone else. So if you feel like things are not right, be sure you are hurt and do not let go, because I knew Casey was not ready for discharge. And maybe if I would have pushed a little bit harder, maybe she could have stayed in. Maybe that weekend that she went home with me, or that if she would have stayed in the NICU, maybe she could have done a little bit better and avoided, because now she has like an oral version. Um, Maybe we could have avoided those problems. So maybe if I would have, stood my ground and be like, no, I don't think she's ready. Because at the end of the day, I do know her. I know her more than anyone else does, because like I'm with her 24/7. So, and I'm that mom that I'm gonna be there from the morning till the dawn. Like I'm gonna be there for every single feed. Like it was, so I knew something wasn't right. So maybe if I would have stood my ground and be like, no, she's not ready to go, I could have avoided a lot of difficulties that she's having now.
Patience is key. Babies are going to do it whenever they're ready. It's, I know we read all the time, they need to be doing this by this time and this by this time, but all the babies work on their pace. We definitely learned that about our baby. It's like he's gonna do it in his terms. So and whenever he's ready. Definitely always provide a positive experience when it comes to feeding with your baby. Never try to be stressed so that they don't get stressed. Try to do every feeding that you do, whether it's by mouth, by a feeding tube. Make it a positive experience for them, and just be patient, and listen to your baby to see what's going on. There might be other factors that are not allowing him to grow, and I would also recommend don't turn away from a feeding tube or a G tube whenever they bring it up to you. It's for a reason, and
Yeah,
G tubes don't have to be permanent. They can be only temporary. So
it's definitely not as scary as it seems.
yeah.
In regards to the G tube, we both wish we had been a bit more accepting of going that route earlier, because it would have saved. I mean, who cares about saving time? It would have saved Omar, a little bit of distress with him, all the times he threw up, all the NG tube placements, the insertions, 2-3 times a day sometimes, because he pulled it out that many times. If we had just gone the G tube route as suggested earlier on, then we could have avoided some of those issues. And so get frustrated with the baby, just get frustrated at the situation, and then sometimes you just start wondering, in our situation, he came 11 weeks early. What did we do? What could we have done differently? Did maybe I upset her? Maybe I early on in the pregnancy, maybe I did something to upset her that caused an issue. Maybe she got mad at, she did something without realizing it. But nobody knows. Nobody knows why it happened. Nobody knows why we got to the situation we were when Omar had to come early.
Recommend the G tube if that's one of the options for the child. I feel like everything has its pros and cons, but the G tube, really, I am a living witness, and Rylan is definitely a living witness to how the G tube can really help you, or help a child flourish. It's not something that, I thought about when I was pregnant and, I'm going to have a baby and I'm going to go on G tube. No, but because you have so much love for that child, you learn to just kind of make it as normal as you can in a way. So I would definitely recommend the G tube, and just try to have patience with the feeding. One thing about me is before Rylan, I didn't really have much patience, and so I wanted everything like now, and I can fix it and get it to right now. But you just have to sit back and that child will be ready when they're ready. And as long as you're putting in time with that child and they're getting the correct help with therapy and at home, you'll see a big difference. And so patience is a big thing, I would say, along with the G2.